We have hit all-time highs in the markets today, and today we are bringing you two market mavens, Bharat Bhai Shah, Nilesh Bhai Shah. More than 3 decades, I have known both of them, and they have been market masters for over 3 decades. So we are looking forward to a lot of insights. I will talk the least, I will make them talk more. So Bharat Bhai, first going to you, what all is going right? Why are we at all-time highs?
A lot of this is a culmination of a lot of things that have been happening and which are still getting unveiled. So it's not some very narrow correlation with some immediate event or something. I think broadly I would say we are at a cusp of one of the greatest economic expansions of this country. It will not just be the rate of growth of the economy, which will be superior compared to its own history or compared to that of any other major economy in the world. But I think what will be even more defining will be that it will be durable for a very long period of time. Durability brings predictability. Predictability brings solidity, and solidity creates a greater value because it reduces uncertainty about the future. And what is less uncertain becomes more valuable. And therefore, many structural changes have happened in the character of the society, character of the economy, and many more are still in the stage of being digested and being unveiled. And therefore, what is happening is not tactical but structural. And that gives the depth to the growth rate. Growth is very vital to create value, either in a business or in a market. But even more than the growth, the quality of the growth is even more, far more important. And qualitatively, this country is in a very significant way changing. The growth rate is becoming more capital efficient, return on capital employed, return on equity. Businesses are getting deleveraged even while they are growing. The character of the growth in terms of the predictability, certainty, solidity, it is these ideas which are at the root of what is likely to happen. And therefore I believe we are at a cusp of one of the greatest phases of economic expansions, which is going to be durable for a long period of time. Qualitative superiority will make it result in a superior value creation in the businesses, quality businesses, which in turn will make the wealth for the owners of these businesses. And finally, the investors who are patient, who are wise, who are disciplined, who are long-term, I think it will be unbelievable dream run of value creation. Nothing will be free from volatility. Volatility is the alter ego of the markets. So volatility will remain forever, but time to time you might even see violence. But through that volatility and violence, I think we are staring at decades and not few years of phenomenal expansion.
So structural story, decades-long story, and I'll come back to you, but I want opening remarks from Nilesh Bhai. And I would like to share with you, 6 years back we were in a conference, and post that Nilesh Bhai had put out a note also. The biggest imports for India were petroleum, were gold, and were electronics. And he was one of the first within the government, outside the government, to really talk about this electronics manufacturing to move to India, and that has become a reality. So please throw some lights on that, Nilesh Bhai.
अजय भाई, कभी कभी हम भी लकी हो जाते हैं, but at least we are now with a government where a common man can give the feedback. They are listening to it, and if they find it appropriate, they are executing it. तो अच्छा लगता है कि आपकी बात भी लोग सुनते हैं.
और अच्छी बात करी आपने. So how deep is this trend? You know, we are now exporting billions of dollars of cell phones, for example. EMS sector itself has now emerged out. You know, 10 years back, we would have found it difficult to find an EMS sector. But how deep is this structural story and how big can it become?
So, Ajay bhai, let's go back into the past to ensure that what kind of mistake we should not repeat. Long back, Samsung, a Korean electronic giant, came to India and they started making in India and selling in India. TV, fridge, AC, mobile. Today it is India's largest consumer durable company with about 1 lakh crore turnover. But we didn't lay a red carpet for Samsung. They went to Vietnam much after coming to India. They made in Vietnam to sell all over the world. What is their turnover in Vietnam? About 5 lakh crore. 5 times more than India. And is Vietnam 5 times bigger than India? No. Vietnam is 1/12 size of India. हमारे हाथ में हुक्म का इक्का था और हमने उसे पपलू समझ के फेंक दिया. We cannot allow this kind of mistake to happen. Today, there are entrepreneurs like Aman Gupta who are trying to build something in India. But all entrepreneurs of India are like Abhimanyu of Mahabharata. अभिमन्यु तो अपनी मर्जी से चक्रव्यूह में घुसा था. इंडियन एंटरप्रेन्योर चक्रव्यूह में पैदा ही होता है. अभिमन्यु तो कौरवों के साथ लड़ रहा था एंड लड़ते टाइम उसकी उम्मीद यह थी कि पांडव, मेरे अंकल, मेरे भाई मुझे बचाने के लिए आएंगे, मदद के लिए आएंगे. हमारा अभिमन्यु तो पांडव के साथ भी लड़ता है. तो चाइनीज कंपटीशन हो, क्वालिटी के इश्यू हो, सप्लाई चेन का प्रॉब्लम हो, वो तो हम मैनेज ही है. बट साथ में रेगुलेटरी बर्डन हो, कंप्लायंस बर्डन हो, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बॉटलनेक हो. तो महाभारत के समय में भी अभिमन्यु बेचारा कौरवों से जीत नहीं पाया था. आज के जमाने में वो पांडव और कौरव दोनों के साथ एक साथ लड़ रहा है, तो क्या जीतेगा? सो वी हैव टू एनकरेज एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप. We have to ensure that they have economies of scale. We have to ensure that they get lesser burden from regulation, from compliance, from infrastructure bottleneck. And then our entrepreneurs will flourish, just like Mr. Gupta was saying.
No, we don't often appreciate that manufacturing ecosystem takes time to build. Service ecosystem and the network relatively can happen faster. But in manufacturing, for example, PLI scheme, Production Link Incentive Scheme, once it is proposed, people try to evaluate the merit and relevance of it and durability of it. Once they are convinced, then somebody will think of an investment plan, a business plan, raise capital, find a way to invest, and build that ecosystem. That takes long time. And most manufacturing is a network. It is not in silo. You need the entire value chain to be built. And therefore, a lot of it takes time. PLI may have been proposed 4 or 5 years back, and now we are beginning to see, for example, in the cell phones, the kind of revolutionary changes which are beginning to brew, or in EMS, where the changes are beginning to brew. But the beauty of the manufacturing is once you build a network and you build an adequate kind of complexity and entry barrier, then it becomes a powerful geometrically multiplying force. And that exactly is what is tentatively beginning to happen. Where, for example, in 80s, India began on the auto component and automobile journey. Today, India is a world-class automaker in all of its dimensions. The same thing in manufacturing. In most of the cases, we did not pay attention for a very long period of time. where we became almost like slavish importers of the goods from China or other places. And we were fast threatened to become a nation of traders rather than the nation of makers. Today we are building that ecosystem. As the ecosystem gets into a kind of a critical phase, we will see a huge flowering and overpowering growth, which will be a geometric multiplication and not an arithmetic expansion.